Twinkle, you have a beautiful home. Whatever little we've seen from the Google or from social media, the pictures that you put up, there are a lot of pictures, there are sculptures, there are paintings. You have a library to yourself. You sit on a table where you post your pictures. So have you done this, and what was the thought behind creating this space, and how much time did it take? Can we just have an insight into your house, if it's okay?
It's fine. Hi, thank you for all being here. I'm thrilled to be in Chandigarh. Yeah, I mean, if I was not doing my own house, then I would have no business sitting here on this chair. That's number one. I think any space, including mine or when I do clients, it depends upon the requirements. So I wanted a space that is aesthetically pleasing, but something that my kids could run over, my dogs could chew up, and it would still survive.
Yeah, you have a beagle. We keep seeing the stories.
I have 2 dogs. I have 4 turtles and 11 goldfish, and 2 children, a husband, and I seem to have, my main job is to keep all of these creatures alive. Yeah.
Okay, so nowadays there's so much of information on social media. Every time we give them a project, what the students do is they open up the internet, they go on Pinterest and various other sites, they Google, they pick up their inspiration, but ultimately the inspiration turns into their projects. So how do they filter out the information, keep their originality in place, and design something? How important is social media, but what is the right way of using the social media portals?
I would say that it's a great privilege to have all this information at your fingertips. Back in the day when we started, it would literally be, you'd have to collect magazines, you'd have to travel places, you'd have pictures. And now you can just, with a click of a button, see a variety of things. The more information you have, the better it is. There is no such thing as knowing too much. I mean, you may see even the greatest painters, for example, Van Gogh, will develop his own style, but he would study all the Impressionists first, deeply, and then do that. So I think what students must do is research constantly, and within all those strands of design, they'll find their own. It will happen. You just have to focus. But if you decide that you're going to emulate somebody else's style, then you're in a trap of your own making.
True. So how do you look for inspiration when you are designing something? Where does the inspiration comes from?
Well, at this point, it's not really where the inspiration comes from. It's about how to break old habits and old set patterns. So it's, you have now a fixed way of doing things. So how do you break that up? That is what I'm working on personally. As far as inspiration goes, you have to see what the space really needs. I mean, what is your ceiling height? What is your view outside? Do you need to create an inward view? Do you need to pull the eye outside? Are you trying to maximize space? Are you trying to make a space that is, that sort of evokes home, or are you trying to make a space that's aspirational? So all those things will define your inspiration.
Okay, so you do homes, you do commercial spaces. So what is your favorite? What do you enjoy doing?
Commercial spaces are much easier because you don't have to deal really with a client. Homes are crazy. You meet all sorts of people. You know things about them that you really don't want to know. I know how they, how much bar pressure they want in their jet spray. I really don't want to know such things. And I'll know, I had a client once who insisted that they wanted a red lamp in their bedroom because that is the way she would signal him for, whatever, intimate relations. I really don't want to know such things. But, so I think commercial spaces, you're sort of in a more sanctified place.
That's interesting. Okay, also everybody in the world now is talking about sustainability. Sustainability is the need of we're polluting the country, what we're doing to the planet is not fair. So does sustainability also come into the interior design world? And if it does, then how does one deal with it?
Sustainability is a very important topic, not just in design, it's across. In design, what you can do is what people are already switching to, which is solar park, conserving water, planning spaces in a way where you can maximize natural light, where you can have and this is something that we've had, luckily in India, always cross-ventilation and making sure that those things are in place. Working with materials that are sustainable. And also, I would say that technology does help, because if you have smart switches, then you can also make sure that you are putting everything off and saving power in that manner, rather than going, because sometimes when you're individually doing things, you don't put all the power off when you're leaving your house, or when you've gone to bed. So I think all those things can be taken into account.
And everything counts. Yeah. So you're a writer, you're a designer, you're a mother of two. We would like to know how you manage all these together, and if you can just describe one of your typical day. You're an early riser, we all know that.
A lot of people say this, and it's very, very boring, but you do have to wake up early before the rest of the world is awake in order to get ahead. So I would say that I wake up at about 6:15. My daughter goes off to school, and I'm at my desk with my cup of coffee by 7. Luckily, I don't like to exercise. I hate it, so this is a good excuse. Oh, I have to work and I can't really go to the gym. I don't think you all should take that excuse, but that's mine. And by lunchtime, actually, I've almost finished everything I have to do in the day, because no one else has bothered me for a long period of time. The other thing is that what people think that you're managing multiple things, you're not. What you're doing is you focus on one project and one thing at a time. And so if I am making, let's say, Padman, then that's all I'm doing for that period of time. Or then if I am working on a design project, that's all I'm doing. Columns I can write anytime, but if I'm writing a book, then that's pretty much all I'm doing at that point. So though from the outside perspective, it looks like everything is together, it's focused at different points of time. And then I finish that and go on to the next.
Yeah, but it also takes quite a bit to have that focus. It's not easy. I mean, to have so many compartments and then focus on one is also commendable. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the way I am.
Yes. So there are so many steps involved when we handle any design project. So it's meeting the client, it's conceptualizing, it is reading the client's mind, material selection, execution of the project. Which part of your job do you find is the most challenging?
The most satisfying part for me is the space planning, because then it's me and a piece of paper and AutoCAD and possibly my assistant or my colleague or an architect. The worst part of my job is the execution, because there are so many moving parts and things invariably go wrong, and you're also dealing with, and that I think is going to be a challenge for almost every designer. It's how to get the work executed, because you're dealing largely with people who are unfortunately uneducated and also really don't care that much about their job. So there are times when you feel that you're the only one who has a standard and everybody else has it's not bad, so it's okay standard. So that is the challenge.
Yeah, and we see that the design industry is also changing dramatically. There are new things coming in every moment. There are new innovations, and be it furniture, light, flooring, anything and everything. So where do you think this is going? What is the future of design?
This is the last industry actually where technology has really been integrated with design. It's taken us very long, but I think that is the future, where it becomes part of design in terms of how you design your light and how you have technology dictating things you do, how you save space. For example, you can use a tooler sink which has a sensor. You wave your hand and you have a sink, and otherwise you have a platform to work with. So multiple things like that, and integrating technology, I think, will be one of the biggest integrations
to come. So what are the personal attributes that you think are essential for becoming a successful entrepreneur? Because these students are going to go into the market now and maybe do their own thing or work with architects or interior designers. So what are the personal attributes do you think that they should carry with them?
The most important thing is the desire to learn and to learn new things again and again, and to never feel that that you are ashamed to ask questions. It is constantly about learning as many disciplines as you can, and if you have that an enthusiasm for learning, I think you're pretty much set for life.
So every designer has a signature style. So what's Twinkle Khanna's signature style?
Well, I design spaces the way I dress, so it's all straight lines, and then there'll be a bit of whimsy, as you can see my green shoes. And I think that is pretty much what I would do in a space, clean-cut space planning, and then you would add basic again. The main piece is all basic, and then it's all fantasy.
But I'm sure there'll be times, like you said, that you encounter very tough clients. They want to be involved in everything, right from the dustbin to the table to every possible thing, because I know I have seen these students work with clients. So any particular client that comes to your mind that, you know, the project that you really thought was, well, why did I take on this project? A difficult client that comes to your mind.
I mean, there are difficult clients. There are finicky clients. There are clients that, you know, seem to want to spend extraordinary amounts of time with a reference of a blue wall, and they will keep. I had a client who kept saying, "I want this Savaria blue wall in my house," and I'm like, "Your house doesn't take the Savaria blue wall." So eventually, if you can afford to be in that position to leave, you leave. Otherwise, if you're not, then you just have to put your head down and do the work. I'm sorry, but they have employed you. So as much as you will say, this is my design, you also have to learn to compromise. We all do.